Havoc was okay. Havoc is the latest film from Gareth Evans, who's been a legendary action director for the last 10 years or so because he directed movies that are titled The Raid. He made 2 of them. And they were revolutionary in a number of ways, and they've had a wide circle of influence in the last 10 years. But he himself did not manage to make a ton of follow-ups to that. I think for a number of reasons, just trouble getting funding and timing and scheduling and stuff like that. He did his 2 action films, then he did a horror film, then he did the first season of a TV show, which was pretty interesting. And most recently he did Havoc, but then there were some production issues where it seems maybe they had trouble getting the actor back for reshoots, and also COVID-19 messed up production. It getting released now is really more an obligation of the company than it is some great successful moment. But that doesn't mean it isn't bad, and I was still excited to see it. And in terms of fulfilling just the basic ideas you expect of a director like him, it succeeds. There are fight scenes and they're shot in his particular style, with his particular flair. Visually, this film looks amazing. To me, his films have always felt like they're transplanting that kind of 90s and 2000s urban decay aesthetic into real life. And this does this really well. It looks fascinating. It has that look. The last 30 minutes of this were like some of the most entertaining action movie I've had in a while. I was just on the edge of my seat constantly going, oh crap, oh, did you see that? Oh wow. I was so immersed. And the climax is uncharacteristically satisfying for one of Gareth Evans' films, managing to tell a story with a large cast, but bring about a satisfying conclusion for most of them in a way that feels earned. But what the movie suffers from, oddly, is not enough action. The biggest problem viewers will probably be able to identify is that the first half of the movie doesn't have any action. And that's a bold and interesting choice. Maybe there's some sort of personal motive there. There's a lot of potential dramatic power in an action director not having any action for the first half. There's movies where they market themselves one way, but then execute themselves in a different way. And the combination of the marketing and then the film itself ends up making this amazingly satisfying experience that takes the expectations out from under you in order to deliver something more amazing than you ever thought you were going to get. But this doesn't feel like a successful version of that. In looking back at Gareth Evans' filmography, you can reach the conclusion that his greatest success as a screenwriter is strangely his first film. We don't know the reasons for that, but it's definitely the biggest success as a writing exercise. But the thing is, his skill in a lot of the other aspects of production are so good that it doesn't necessarily matter. But in this case, viewers are going to come away feeling the pinch of, I feel like that was missing something. Maybe it could have just, been a bit more satisfying. The fact that this was released on Netflix and after such an incredibly long delay is a real shame, because this is a film that I think still deserves to be a success and still deserves to be awesome and liked and well received. In ways it feels like a kind of Liam Neeson adjacent action thriller script, but it does it with such style and such thrill that it rises above that genre into its own category. The delay, I think, also hurt it a lot because the actors and the themes in it, actors like Tom Hardy and Timothy Olyphant, and themes like police corruption and political corruption were a bit fresher in the way that they were being done. But now, because of current events and controversies and just increased cultural literacy of things like that, those themes are just a little less fun and a little less exciting. Ultimately, it doesn't matter that much. Gareth Evans should still make, a million movies for the rest of his life. I think he should be making a movie like every 2 years, and it should be just more action and then variations on the types of action he wants to do. As a movie experience, this was still good. If you're a guy looking to just have a good guy night, this is going to be a solid experience. If you're a filmmaker bro or a film lover who just wants to see something new and interesting, you're going to like this. If you're someone who's just trying to have a decent experience with a Netflix movie, you're going to have a good one. In conclusion, Havoc is a decent entry in the Gareth Evans action film filmography. Not quite his best, not quite his worst, but hopefully the precursor of much more work to come. And I recommend it in that context.